In today's video, we're going to take a look at the Aurzen Boom Mini 1080p projector. What's up everybody, my name is Dan, welcome to Freely Roaming. This is Lake Los Caneros in the town of Goleta. It is part of the old Rancho La Patera owned by the Stowe family, who is critical in developing the lemon industry here in the area. It is one of the city parks that people love coming to. It's also a great place for bird watching, which is what we're doing here. But today I want to show you guys a projector that we've been using. Being a full-time traveler in a small camper, it's really difficult to have a nice entertainment system in our camper. Our four-wheel camper is only 8 foot long with a small cab over, so there's no TV of any kind in there. So we'll be looking at projectors as a way of being able to consume content. Traditionally, we consume all of our content through our phones and our computers. But lately, I've been looking at projectors, and this Aurzen Boom Mini is one that I want to show you guys today. Even though the name has the word mini in it, the Boom Mini is actually not a very small projector. It is in fact a reasonably sized projector that you can use basically in 90% of the situations that you find yourself in. To be honest, I would say that it's probably a little bit big for our purpose, mainly because there are a lot of us in a small camper and storing it when we're not using it is kind of a major concern. But nonetheless, I'm going to go through all the features with you guys today. I'm doing unboxing. I'm going to show you guys the build quality, all of the features, and most importantly, the brightness of this projector to show you in what situations it can be used. So first, let's get into unboxing this thing. So here's the box for the Boom Mini made by Aurzen. It is actually quite a bit bigger than I thought it would be, but they call it your personal theater in a box, and being so big, it actually lives up to the size because it is very bright, sounds really good, and the build quality is really good. So I don't know if you can tell, this box is actually empty because I've already opened it. Let's first talk about what's actually in the box. It's packaged very well. It's got a bunch of foam, it's got a bunch of wrapping so that there's very little risk of damage as it comes. But what's inside is actually fairly simplistic. You just have the projector, you have the lens cap, power supply, remote control, and a little box that holds all of that stuff in it. So here we go. Here's the actual projector itself. Again, it's quite a bit bigger than I thought for something that's called the Mini, but again, they probably needed to have something this big for the kind of components that's in here. Here's the lens cap. Rather than being a portable unit that you take with you places, which I think you still can do, but this is probably better to be used as a unit that you keep in a room. So here's the power supply. Plugs into your regular 110 outlet and barrel plug that goes into the side right there. And the only other thing that comes with it besides the manual and the warranty paper is some of these long Q-tips for cleaning. Well, they're kind of swabs. So I think there's some cleaning instruction in there about when it gets dirty. So it comes with a 2+ 1 year warranty. So they offer a 2-year warranty if it has any quality issues, and you can extend it for a 3rd year by registering using this QR code. Here's the owner's manual. I'll go and put this box away. It is a Google TV powered projector. This one has 2 languages, English and Spanish. Very well documented, very well written, very well illustrated owner's manual. A lot of owner's manuals for these things don't have nearly as much information in it. This one has 18 pages full of stuff, and a pretty big one too. A lot of these owner's manual, there's only like a couple of pages, and there'll be a bunch more languages. So this looks like they'll give you a different manual if you're buying this in countries that use any other language besides English and Spanish. So let's see, here's some troubleshooting. Here's what comes in the box, as you guys already saw. Has a remote control, which I have somewhere. Here it is, that's the remote control. Dedicated YouTube, Prime, Netflix, and I believe that's sort of just like the menu button. It does have a microphone in it. Has a QR code for tutorial and extended warranty. 2 AAA batteries. And the usual remote control with the directional pad and the center button. What's nice is that there is a dedicated focus button right here. So when I first saw this, I thought, wow, there's no external ports, because I flip it over and I saw, oh, there's a little thing here, but this is actually just a air intake with a little foam piece there. But then I turned it to the side and I saw that, yeah, there's inputs behind this little rubber door, which is kind of nice, so you don't get dust in there, because yeah, these go all the way into these ports. So we have an HDMI cable, or HDMI port I should say. That's for HDMI in, not out. USB 1, USB 2, that's for audio out. It does have onboard storage because it does run Google TV OS, so it does have apps and stuff that you install. But if you want to load any external files, you probably have to do it through that, or you can do an external HDMI into this projector. There's a dial on top. This is a action button, which I believe also turns on and off, and then a dial. You can probably hear it's got some clicking feedback, and that's for volume. So let's talk about some of the features. Let me show you guys some specs. As I mentioned, it's kind of big, but it says in the manual that it's 8.7 by 6.7 by 3.1 inches, which I don't know if any of these dimensions are 3 inches. Like, this is the shortest part, but that's got to be at least 4 or 5 inches. So let me get a tape measure. The width is just about 8 inches. And if you add these little ears in, we're probably looking at the 8.7. And then the depth is a little bit over 7 if you count the lens cap. Without the lens cap, we're probably just shy of 7. And then the height is well over 3 inches, as you can tell. It's more like 5 inches, not counting the feet, not the legs. If you count the legs, we're looking at 7.5 inches. So I would say the dimensions that are in the owner's manual is incorrect. The power supply is a DC power supply that plugs into 110 AC, and it's outputting 29 volts at 3.8 amps. These speakers are 10 watt speakers, and it says 10 watt times 2, but there are actually 4 speakers here. So I'm not sure exactly if some of these speakers are fake speakers, or if they just once again have an incorrect information here in the manual. But besides that, all of the other information has been pretty good. So let me talk about a few of the features that are worth noting after I've been using this for a little while. As I mentioned, it's powered by Google TV, so you actually don't need to plug anything in to use it. And it's not just one of these Android OSs with a custom user interface. It's actual legit Google TV, and Looks really nice, works really well, it's really responsive. There's a lot of different settings for color, audio, and all that. And it is also officially certified and licensed Dolby Audio. It has nice autofocus, auto keystone, and image scaling, which I thought was kind of nice. The default scaling at about 4 feet will give you a 40-inch screen, and that scales up to a 200-inch screen at 20 feet. So you can get anywhere between 40 inches diagonal to 200 inches diagonal, between 4 to 20 foot distance from the screen to the projector lens. Wherever you have this set up, you may have a specific size screen that you need to use. And one of the features that it has, it's image scaling. So you can actually scale any of these images down by as much as 50%. So if you putting a projector 20 feet away and 200-inch screen is way too big, you can scale that down to actually about 100. So there's a little bit of image scaling that you can do, which is kind of a nice feature. 1920 by 1080p resolution using LCD technology with an LED light source. The input signal that it will take is anywhere from 576i or 576p all the way up to 1080i or 1080p. It does also support AirPlay or Google Cast, which means you can take your Android device and screen mirror it directly to this projector. So if you don't want to use the Google TV and you don't want to do an external cable, you can just screen mirror your device and it will show everything that your screen shows. One of the other features that it has is it has what's called Bluetooth speaker mode. There is a built-in fan in here. So when you have the fan, when you have the projector running, that fan, if you're sitting next to it, is pretty audible. There's 3 different modes. There's an eco mode, a standard mode, and a boost mode. Each of those modes, the fan will run at different speeds. Eco mode will give you the dimmest picture, and boost mode will give you the brightest picture. But inversely, the speed of the fan will be different. Eco mode being the quietest and boost mode being the loudest. But in Bluetooth speaker mode, you can actually just use this as a Bluetooth speaker. And after 2 minutes of being on Bluetooth speaker mode, the screen will turn off and the fan will turn off. So you can actually just use this and its nice speakers that come with it without the fan being on if you just want to use it for audio. But my experience with this is that the quality has been really good. And as you would imagine, these speakers that we have on the back here are pretty big, and the amount of power that comes out is actually pretty impressive. So this is the first projector of this size, even though this is on the slightly larger side, that I've ever used, that I actually don't feel like I need to use an external speaker, whether it be Bluetooth or a physical line-in speaker. It has some ability to be able to tilt up and down. You can tilt straight up if you want. You can mount it upside down if you want, or you can do front or rear projection. There is a 1/4-20 thread on the bottom, so if you wanted to mount this to a tripod or you want to fix it somewhere, you can do that. I'd be really liking this. I think the only thing is, and you can't really get away from this, from having such a good set of speakers and also such a bright projector. I've been using this during the day as well indoors, and it's actually been very, very usable even when there's a lot of ambient light. But with those nice benefits, you are dealing with a larger size. And I'm not saying that this is too big to be portable. It's not too heavy, so you can actually carry this around if you have a nice case for it to go in or a nice padded space for this to kind of live in when you travel. But it is on the larger size. But you got to think about the fact that you don't have to bring an extra set of Bluetooth speakers. Might make this worth your while. Alright, so we're going to show you guys how this projector works when it's dark outside. We have some lights on, but you'll be able to see just how this works projected against not a totally white wall, but a decently white wall. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's pretty sharp. Here's the Google TV interface. That's the Google TV interface. There's some texture on this wall, but as you can see, this is natively 1080p. You have your settings over here. Let's come over here. We'll go to all settings. Here's all your settings. Channels, projector. You have keystone, focus, projection mode, Bluetooth speaker mode, zoom. So here's that zoom that lets you go down to 50%. So here's 100%. It goes down to 50%. So it doesn't look like it's an optical zoom because I can still see kind of a faint outline. So it just looks like it literally just shrinks the output of this projector. So if you want to get full resolution, you want to do 100%. That's going to give you far better resolution. So you have your keystone. You can do auto keystone that readjusts it to make sure it's aligned. There's probably some kind of sensor inside that lets you know whether or not it's level or not. We can do autofocus or manual focus. Here's Bluetooth speaker mode, network, all the usual stuff. Your system, you can do system update, date and time. Here shows you your storage. There's 9 gigs of total space. And here's all the apps that are pre-installed. And here's where you go update all your apps. Security settings. Stuff like that. Screensaver, power energy. Let's see, power energy. Here's where you can have timer, picture off, switch off timer, power on behavior. Here's where you can have casting features. That's how you also restart the device. Pair your remote. You can connect your phone to it as well. And let's just show you guys what playing some videos sounds like. So I've got Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, Prime Video, a bunch of different things pre-installed. You can also search for apps and games to install them as you need. So let's just go to YouTube. Let's watch something. Let's watch okay, here are my videos. Give you an idea about how one of these looks. It's yeah, pretty good. Definitely giving you at least half a megabit. And that is the screen time of 25 milliseconds. So that's really bright. Alright, let's do a third party one. And here's the speaker from the back. Okay, we'll continue on the web. Looks like it's fully loaded. It knows I'm using SpaceX Starlink. And here we go. It has nice and full sound, so it's not just like your normal little speaker with a tinny sound. Let's watch something that has... Let's watch this one. In today's video, I want to tell you guys about the latest updates of Starlink Mini and the new plans that you can sign up with it. What's up everybody, my name is Dan, welcome to Freely Roaming. I am here in Ecuador and I'm in the
So this is 1080p
of Chimborazo. It is a volcano here in Ecuador. We are about 1.5 degrees south of the equator, which means this volcano at a little over 20,000 feet, the top of it is actually the closest point on the Earth's surface to the sun because of the equatorial bulge that Earth has. Because Earth is not exactly a perfect sphere. As it rotates, the equatorial region bulges out a little bit. So the top of that mountain, even though it's just over 20,000 feet, it is actually closer to the sun. And it is, in fact...
So there you go. That's the quality of this projector projected onto like an orange peel texture wall. I think it's really good, especially when you have a relatively dark room.
There you go. That is the Aurzen Boom Mini. It is a really nice projector, and what I really like about it is actually that it can be used when the projector is not even on, just as a Bluetooth speaker. The main downside for me though is its size. Even though it's called the Boom Mini, it is not super practical for us to have in our camper full time. But if you have a larger RV or if you want to use it in your house, I think this actually is a perfect projector for a lot of situations. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend this projector for the majority of the people who's considering a good quality, bright, actual 1080p full HD projector. And especially because it's running the Google TV software, you don't have to connect anything to it to be able to consume pretty much all the content that you want. So there you go. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.